Hey, buddy, welcome to Teaching to the Test Pattern. And today I am going to share with you the silver lining that is remote learning. The silver lining that is all of this stress on how to figure out teaching kids that we're not in the same room with, or not in the same building with, or in some cases not in the same county with. I'm going to share a silver lining that hit me last night as I was having dinner with my family. Going to help you kind of get through it and figure out a plan for it. All of that and a little bit more. This is Teaching to the Test Pattern.
He can cook a shoe and it'll taste delicious. You don't even have to bring your own, he says. And that's neat. It's Tom White. This is Teaching to the Test Pattern.
That's right. 2021 is... it's a different year, man. It's crazy. Teaching remotely, teaching students that you've never met before. Some of the counties in Georgia were scheduled to go back to school today. We found out last night that, well, they couldn't. And I wanted to give you the silver lining in what is digital learning, because it's a big deal. If you're in Georgia today, especially the west and northwest corner of Georgia, you probably are impacted by cold weather, and digital learning became your go-to today, and I think that that's a good trend. I really do think that that's going to be a game changer to help save you. It's going to save you lots of time. It's going to save you stress, and it's going to help you get through a school year much better. So here's the situation. Last night I was having dinner with my family, and my daughter and I were talking, and we were talking about the impending cold that was headed our way, and as my phone kept going off with school systems that were delaying their start of their day or going to a digital day, and we were talking, and I asked my daughter, I told her, I said, so this is kind of what's going to be, for the next while, at least it's digital learning and remote learning is going to be a part of the fabric of our culture as educators for forever. We've shown we can do it. And I was explaining to my daughter, I said, so, in Georgia, it's 180 days. You're in school 180 days. And I asked her, I said, when would you rather be out of school on a bright, sunny, warm day, or would you rather be out of school on a day that's raining and cold and you can't really do anything other than stay inside? And as a child is expected to do, she said, well, I want to be out when it's warm. And I really think that that's kind of when we all want to be out, to be perfectly honest with you. And I think that the silver lining in the mess that has been 2020 and 2021 school year is that the digital learning days will now allow us to not have to miss those days in June and July and August, or whenever your school year is scheduled to end, because no longer do we have to just shut down the education machine because the weather's bad. We just shift gears. And that's something that, in showing that we can do that in the last school year, and certainly in this school year, I think that that's going to be a long-term benefit for us as educators, because we no longer have to give up those days in May or June or whenever your school year is scheduled to end. And we have to sacrifice those for days where we can't really do anything other than sit at home. Now, I understand, and I hope your administration understands, and I hope that the politicians and the policymakers in our country understand that digital learning and face-to-face learning are not the same thing. They'll never be the same thing. But I think it's a great tool to use, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. Moving forward, I'm going to plan 3, 4, 5 digital learning days into my lesson plans for the year, because I really think that it's going to be something that we just go to. It's going to be a go-to. Now, what am I going to plan? I'm not going to plan a news broadcast. I'm not going to plan a production of any sort. I'm going to focus on the kids working on the tools they need to become professionals. Usually in the first week or two of my courses, the kids do a resume and they do an online portfolio. And I'm creating these with 13, 14-year-old kids as freshmen, but I know that in 4 years, they should have a pretty robust portfolio. And yes, as a freshman, there's not a lot to put on there, but I'm assuming that starting school in August or September, you're not going to need a digital learning day until maybe October, November, December. So you can use these plans for that. So my plan is same thing in terms of getting them ready for the professionalism, the resume, the online portfolio, all of those things. And then if we have to flip a trigger and go digital learning day or remote learning, then we focus on those. So I'll have one that is update your portfolio and your resume. I'll have one that is renovate your portfolio, come up with a different space, or go find someone else's portfolio and see how it looks compared to yours and see the things that you can add. My goal as an educator isn't necessarily to teach these kids how to do broadcast video. If 5 of the kids in my class every year were to go into the industry, I really think I deserve a monument somewhere. But all of the kids are going to have to go an adult at some point. Whether they're applying at McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever, they're going to need a resume of some sort or know how to fill out a job application. Those are things that I can teach that have a long-lasting impact that I know will be something that they'll use later, whereas opposed to, camera moves, that kind of stuff they may or may not use. So keep that in mind. And I think that really is a big silver lining in this whole crazy messed up year that we've had, is that moving forward, you're no longer going to have to be out on February 16th because it's icy. You just flip a switch and you do something digital learning, and you now have that day in May or June where you can go and have fun and not have to worry about the stresses of school or any of that, and you've kept your day. And I really do think, as the great prognosticator that I tend to be sometimes, that this is going to be something that it's going to be built into calendars. The economy tanks again. We're going to have 5, 10, 15 digital learning days as opposed to, furlough days, which I think is a good thing. The money it takes to get all of the people and all of the places and all of that going, that money can be cut with digital learning. And I think it's going to happen. I mean, most of us, I say most, I assume 40% of the country right now is one-to-one with technology. I'm also going to assume that number is going to double in the next 3 to 5 years because we've seen that it needs to be something that happens. And I'm in a community right now where internet is sparse. A lot of my students don't have home internet, but I really do see that those trends are going to end, and it's going to be systemic that everyone has internet and everyone's going to have this one-to-one technology, and it's going to be a way for school systems to save money. I know that in a local school system near us, it costs, and this is a moderate-sized school system, it costs $500,000 a day to run the school system. So if you're $5 million short on a budget, you throw in 10 or 12, let's say 12 just to make it a round number, you throw in 12 digital learning days, well, you've now made up that deficit. You're not running buses, you're not heating schools, you're not turning on the heat for the kitchens, you're not using water, you're not using all of these things that cost money for those 10 days, 12 days, and it's going to be a thing. So my suggestion for you is go ahead and plan on those. Plan on those digital learning days to where for sure you're going to need to have something that kids can do at home. And don't just give them vocabulary. Don't give them silly time filler things. Give them things that matter. Have them build a resume. Have them build an online portfolio. Have them update them. The assignments don't have to be hours and hours long, but have them go ahead and put their latest products on their portfolio and have them update as they get more proficient at whatever editing software you're using. All of those things. So keep that in mind. I really do think that it's something we're just gonna have to embrace, and it's not something that I really genuinely look forward to, but I really do think that it is it's our future. So embrace that. Hopefully that's a silver lining for you, and hopefully maybe it puts you at ease, especially those of you who have only done digital learning for the last several months. You're training for what the rest of us will have to overcome later. So thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you share the podcast with your teacher friends. They don't have to necessarily be video teachers. Talked to a good science friend buddy of mine the other day, and he actually listened. So I thought that was pretty cool. But have a great day and go make some awesome
teaching to the test pattern.